So let's talk a little bit about mock trial and some of the things that you should be thinking about doing, and then we'll talk about some things about law careers and anything else you want to talk about in that time frame. Let me take you through, basically, I'm going to take you through a trial, and I'm going to make commentary about each segment. Some of you will remember some of the stuff, some of you will pick up on it and note for the future, and I'll add some tactics to it, okay? First thing I got to do when I start any trial you guys are going to do is I got to know who's going to be the best witness, who's going to be the best lawyer, who's going to act the best as a witness. Remember, witnesses are role-playing, truly role-playing. I want the people who know how to have an accent, know how to be angry, know how to be upset, because they're going to be the face of that trial and how people feel. I remember judging a state competition in Virginia. And there was this kid who was 16 years old, and he was an expert. He was a doctor. And he came in, he was dressed like a doctor because they could allow that at that time. But what was more important is not how he was dressed. He spoke with an Australian accent. And he had his chest up like this. He was a little kid. He stood sitting up like he was an authority. He brought in glasses that made it look, and he would like, I would love to answer your question, but I need to hear it a bit clearer, And everybody was mesmerized by the guy's accent, and everybody liked the guy. So whether he performed well or not, what happened was he became a figure that, like, we all believed he was actually believing he was. I actually believed that the guy was from Australia, to be honest with you. When I said, do you speak with an Australian accent, he spoke with the most Virginian, Southern, I couldn't believe it, because it was so authentic. And he never fell out of role. But when he would say no, he would just say, I respectfully don't agree with you, and maybe you will want to rephrase that question, And so what you want to think about is who are your best players in terms of the ability to live the role, and will they live the role? If you want to learn about living roles, you could look up Daniel Day-Lewis, who Last of the Mohicans. If you haven't seen the movie, absolutely phenomenal movie, just off the chart movie. Academy Award, all this kind of stuff. But what he did, he plays this sort of, I'll just call him an Indian-like guy, from a tribe called the Mohicans. But he actually went and lived in the forest and lived around Indian cultures so he would feel and know how to behave. He would get in, when he did Lincoln, which if you haven't seen the movie, you should go see it. You start to forget the guy's who he is, and you start to believe that he's really Lincoln because they get immersed in their roles. I'm sure you all have a favorite movie where you think that somebody was so immersed in the role you believe them. I mean, you actually thought that they were the people who they were trying to be. Or imagine one character that you hated. If you hated them, that meant they really must be doing a good job. And so if you have those kinds of dynamics, you need to think about it as a team and be honest, who's going to fit best in those roles? Because your witnesses can be even more important than your lawyers in some ways, okay? So you first want to talk about players, and you guys should think about that, and you should play that out, and depending on who the characters are.